Oh man, feel revitalized already.
So go ahead and tell you this true story right now. So did this event yesterday.
Okay.
Um, Definitely got to like highlight some of these things that I'm doing. But
And hit me up too. Damn.
yes, it's funny because I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, see, like I need to have a program, right? Not program, but like just be intentional.
Yeah.
Like when something, you mentioned before, like, I don't want to have like tabs on you. You said something like, I don't need to have like a tracker on you, nothing like that, but I just want to know your general schedule so
Yeah,
that we can
yeah.
coordinate.
Yeah. Not trying to track you or nothing. Just trying to make sure that the time frame's still aligned.
Yes.
Which it's funny because I'll tell you about an event I went to yesterday too. But go
Okay.
ahead, tell
All
me about
right.
the event that you did.
So the Up Center is a, you know, program here in Portsmouth organization.
Yeah.
And I have, through some of these things that I've done, I've met one of the somebody that works there named Becca. And it's funny because this shirt I'm wearing right now, which I've been talking to this founder recently. He has a sneaker company that he developed some sneakers out of like waste, out
Okay.
of like fruit waste. It's
Yeah.
funny. This is cool. So anyway, he's some fruit leather, basically some real leather, real fruit leather material made from fruit.
So
And
you'll be rocking some orange
some
ones.
little, yeah, some little cuties.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be a nice brand
You
too,
know?
right? Some cuties. And
Yeah.
but so he's an artist that somebody introduced me to, and I've been chatting with him again recently. And um so this event he did, I was actually there with coffee sales, just serving coffee,
Okay.
serving community, creating
Yeah.
that atmosphere. And but when he did this event right here downtown in Portsmouth at this restaurant called Time on the River, it's out there now, right there on the waterfront.
Okay.
He did this event. I connected him with Becca from the Up Center because they have a mentoring program called Team Up.
Okay.
And so she reached out to me recently. She's like, "Hey, Edwin, like I thought of you. Would you be willing to host a table at this, boys mentoring event that we're having at the YMCA in
Yeah.
Norfolk coming up?" I'm like, "Sure." She said, "I want you to host the healthy foods table. Just how to like eat more fruits and veggies and how practically they are good for the different things,
Exactly.
focus, your mind, your body, physical
So you
activity."
have knowledge on all that.
So I end up being this guy with like with general knowledge. And I guess I can say I can go back to the fake it till you make it thing, but I know that's not the truth.
Exactly.
The truth is, yes, I have knowledge on this stuff. I have taken a master gardener's class, but it's from community engagement that I learned all this stuff. You know what I mean? From talking to people, from
Exactly.
listening, from doing events just like this.
Yeah. But
And
that doesn't need to take away the fact that you do have that wealth of knowledge.
got it.
Like it's okay that, you might not be as learned, I guess that's the
Mhm.
word that people like to use,
Mhm.
as other people, or you didn't go the traditional way of learning the process and everything. But the simple fact that you do possess that knowledge, can't take that away from yourself.
Right. True. True. She had put it, and she just did a post about it yesterday, and she posted farmers market extraordinaire. It's funny because I never know how people really view me because I don't put a lot of stuff out there, right?
Exactly.
And so I had this little quirky thought. I was like, I bet you people can find out a lot about me now since I'm all up in
Yeah.
ChatGPT doing stuff. You know what I mean? Because even me, I find myself finding my stuff kind of basically,
Oh wow.
because it's learning
Yeah,
you,
yeah, exactly.
and I'm not saying, ideas come a dime a dozen, but I am seeing more and more of that type of language out here now. You know
Of
what I mean?
course. Yeah.
Coffee and community,
Yep.
um, just people. Somebody put, an image online, and they have this whole new organization with all images that you could tell, were
Chat
automatically
GBT.
created, right? and
People get off of
and their
ChatGPT.
whole like mission statement, all their posts, everything is just like real curated,
ChatGPT, yeah. Because I mean, that's where a lot of people went. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I didn't. I fell prey to it too, because it becomes a lot easier. You don't have to think as much, and in doing it, if you're a conscious person, you'll start to realize immediately is like, hold on, I can't think for myself anymore. Let me stop using this platform for a little bit just so I can get my own thoughts together.
It's a good conversation. I
Exactly.
have a friend who's very torn between it, and I just want to tell her, look, by being torn about it, that's like that's worse.
Yeah, that lets you know that there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
If you have to be torn about it, if you can't sit there and give a definite like, okay, I don't need, or a
Whether I'm
definite,
for it or not, yeah, and whether I actually want to work with people who use it and stuff like that, I'm like, if it's doing that, that's a whole nother like issue.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Because it's not we know it's not that tool. That's a tool. It's
Yeah,
not the tool. You know what I mean?
it's a user.
It's the user.
You
Yeah.
know, you have to use the tool.
Yeah.
Uh, like you say, it's a tool, so use it
Yeah.
as a tool, not as a brain or as a person
Persona.
itself.
Yeah.
And
Person. Yeah.
you know that don't mean to cut your wisdom or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but just the simple fact that us right here, this is ChatGPT right here. This is me asking you a question and you giving me an answer from your brain, not from, oh, let me ask, a fake person what this is. Let me go ask a real person. That's where the human interaction is missed.
Yes. It is, it is. But that's a great point. You look at it that way, it's not that scary, right? Because it is developed from a lot of wisdom and
Yep.
knowledge of, just faster, more broad. So yeah, you look at it that way. To me, that's a welcoming, not a welcome, but that's a way to look at it,
Yeah.
that it's just combined, con, um,
Conjoined knowledge.
yeah, yeah, you know, I had an activity for kids a long time ago, and I was like doing youth entrepreneurship, and I came up with it because like back in the day, like I was in the beginning, I was in like Microsoft classes, like in the 90s, right?
Oh shit.
So they called it back then, they called it like it was like IT or something like that. It was like data management,
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you
yeah, yeah.
basically learn Word and spreadsheets,
Yep.
but I want to say it was like in the beginnings of it, but what you learned, oh man, what they used to teach us in grade school,
They
we
don't teach it now.
taught us coding actually.
They don't do that now. Well,
We were
they try to, I think.
I was in like 6th grade on, I don't care if I'm telling my age, whatever, on Franklin computers, right? Which had an Apple on them, so I guess they were a version of Apple.
I never heard of Franklin
Nope.
computers.
You heard of Tandy at Radio Shack? Okay, it's all good. But Franklin computer, that's what we were working on. Tandy was Radio Shack computers
Okay, I
at the
know Radio
time.
Shack.
Yeah, they had Tandy. But Franklin computers, it had an apple on it, like a multicolored apple on it, right? So I think it was like a Macintosh, like um what do you call that? Like a licensed computer
Mm.
from like Apple at the time,
This is really good.
It is,
Like
right?
I'm every time I sip it, and I again don't mean to cut your wisdom, but it's
Yeah.
like,
So my what I was getting though, where I was getting, but they were teaching us coding. We
yeah,
were we were in Microsoft DOS back in the day, and we had to type in the code to get like a ski game or like
ah,
Oregon Trail and things
yeah,
like that.
okay,
We had to type in all the code in MS DOS, which is probably still the mainframe of a PC now.
yeah.
Um,
So do you remember the coding?
no, no. A lot of it was we were typing off of sheets,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
so we were
yeah,
just typing the game, but that was the beginning of coding.
yeah.
They after Windows came out, that was done. You ain't see that no more in school,
Yeah, they
And
didn't want to
that was in elementary school, middle school.
make people smarter.
No.
They want to make them dumber.
Yeah.
That's what school's all about, honestly.
Yeah. But the process of a computer, the start and the finish, right?
Mhm.
Just the processor of a computer.
Yeah.
So processing a thought, processing an action, right? And I had just made this quick little easy sheet that said start and end. And basically it was just teaching kids some like reasoning,
Yeah.
like, but this is how a computer work. And I used the symbols that they used back in the day for how
Okay.
you would use processing knowledge of a computer. They use certain symbols to represent certain actions of a computer in the diagram. It was like a mind
Yeah.
map
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah. So do
But
you think that someone's coding in the answers for ChatGPT, or do you think it's just strictly AI
oh yeah, I
writing
like
itself?
just off the top of my head, right? I'm not a computer science, but this is from what I understand, right? It's basically it's both, right?
Mm.
I don't think they're coding in the answers, but I think they're coding in on how to come up with the answers,
Okay.
the best rounded possibility. That's what a calculator does, right? Or that's what a computer does, is right. It
I mean, a
comes up with
computer's a big
multiple
calculator.
possibilities, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what they're coding. They're coding because they got all the language out there. They got whatever. I mean, you know what I thought the other day? I'm like, I bet you remember OCR? OCR is what was the software that was in scanners that could read text.
Ah.
Something,
Okay.
but it was basically a optical reader
Yeah.
that can scan a document and turn all the picture of the text into text that you can then, turn into data.
So you can take a picture and then it'll break it down into the codes,
Well,
like ones and zeros?
Well, no, not codes. I mean, it probably does that
Okay.
internally, but it doesn't we don't see that
Okay,
part,
okay, okay. Yeah,
But the
yeah, yeah.
scanners they used to be OCR scanners.
Okay.
Right now it's just everything's you can read text
Yeah,
off of
you
anything
can
now.
cam scan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything. And but OCR was the software or the programming or whatever that translated text from a document, from a
Okay.
photo, from a scan. And anyway, I thought about that. I'm like, that's like all that's just how the progression and the evolution of technology, right?
Yeah.
Because now anything that's online can be it in ChatGPT is quickly accessible. With the computer able to read multiple oh, text
Yeah.
from anywhere, even from photos. It can read text from photos too, right? So it's going to pull you up photos and all kinds of stuff. So, we typed in beware of the dog and we took a nice picture of that beware of the dog sign right there. That'll probably pop up if we look for
Oh yeah,
that.
of course.
And so anyway, all that, and it just made me think of that. Um, but just how all that knowledge from back in the day and the computing knowledge that they were teaching us and stuff. So it's just some basic things back in the day that they stopped teaching us,
Yeah.
but now we're utilizing it, but don't understand it.
Exactly.
So that's kind of where I think that's kind of where I come from. I don't get into the conversation about it with anybody right now, but
Okay.
I'm really hoping to get some kind of dialogue going.
Yeah.
And when you said panel, I'm like, I pulled into my Rolodex of ideas of my life, and I
Yeah.
said catharsis. Catharsis.
Explain.
Maybe we can look up the definition. But basically a cathartic moment.
Cause I've heard it.
So
It's been a while since I heard that now.
we used to do and back in it would be like a discussion, but they were called catharsis. So like on the radio, like if there was a panel on the radio,
Yeah.
whatever.
I thought that was a conglomerate.
Um, no, no, I think that might be another word.
I
Um,
done threw him all the way off.
no, but conglomerate, right? Right? That anyway, that's a cool word too, but we could do that too. But um,
Catharsis, I got it, is a process of releasing strong, pent-up emotions such as anger, sadness, or fear, resulting of emotional relief, renewal, or restoration.
so there was when we did a panel discussion, when we did a discussion, they were called catharsis. You could call them a catharsis.
Okay.
Because it was really meant for like going deep and having people come and really hashing something out. So
Okay.
race issues,
So yeah, yeah,
politics,
yeah, it falls right in there.
So instead of just like, just projecting, hey everybody, I want you to meet Swain from Horatio X, you know, uh, serial entrepreneur, done a lot of things, whatever I go into all, all your accolades and things that you
Yeah,
do and everything. And then we could just go into all about content and media and capturing stories, right? Which is relevant. It's good. Just, you know, but what we're doing kind of, we're creating more catharsis where somebody can like, really vent,
yeah.
you know?
Come in, get it off their chest, and then everybody sit there, take it in, absorb.
Different knowledge,
Yeah,
right? Different wisdom, right? Can all speak to the matter, can mediate it, but it was all done in community. It wasn't, not just one. You could, yeah, there's still a mediator or a host or
of
whatever,
course.
but what you find is that when you let community do it, we self-govern pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, because as long as the majority rules, as long as the majority is all in a good space and on the right time, because if you think about it, that can go one or two ways. It can go good or bad. And as good as it can go just as bad
It
because we've
can,
seen it in the past.
it can.
If you think about that,
But also how you set up things. Like I said, if you set up something where you're just talking, I don't know a lot about this these people who we know who have been public speakers who are really famous and stuff like that, really had a big following. Just name anybody right now, but that's a controversial figure,
yeah,
right? Already being a controversial figure is a little bit tough to lend to an open conversation.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just tough. It's just tough if you're gonna put that person in the headline, if you're interviewing that person. If you're really trying to have catharsis, that might just be tough.
yeah,
But that if that person is the subject, you know what I mean? But if that but if we if but when we're just people in a community and we come to the table, we're basically coming around some common something. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Even if it's you drove by or you like the way we were set up out here, or you just like our beers or something like that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Even if you come and you find out that we're talking, about something that you don't like and you leave it, maybe the most, but 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 I think it goes back to creating the spaces.
yeah,
You know, if you create an environment where you're just telling people stuff, you just bringing a show to them,
yeah,
then they can then that's a good opportunity to show up if you disagree with something. You know what I mean? If you're bringing
exactly.
a something that's controversial or whatever, and you go out there and say, "Hey, we're going to meet we're gonna go protest, I mean, it lends itself to that kind of thing. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? If we go, which we should be protesting, right? But if we go protest homelessness, which we should be doing right now, right?
Yeah,
All the things we should be protesting, right? Um, we're gonna lend ourselves to, possibly to a discord. Maybe that's another word, a discord,
yeah,
that's the platform online, is probably for, and but when you create an environment for catharsis, it's for a space, a place, a discussion that can lead to healing,
yep,
exposure,
mhm,
um, so it I'm not saying, of course it can go wrong, but it just good point because it leads me back to it's like how we set what are we doing
yeah.
and how do we set things up?
You have to set the atmosphere to what you wanted to do because, um, I used to throw parties, so there were certain songs that I didn't allow the DJ to play because I knew what that frequency will bring. Don't play Knuck If You Buck.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No, you said Nuckafee?
No, Knuck If You Buck.
Nuck if you buck.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
you probably heard the song if it
Probably.
plays.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
certain songs like that, it was just, a
That's a
playlist.
cool name, though.
No, man,
Yeah.
and it'll get you ready to fight too, and it says that in the song.
Uh-huh.
But I understand where you're coming from because you can set up a space like anything can go wrong at a party.
Yeah.
Fights can happen, shootouts can happen. But if you mitigate that by certain songs that are played because you understand frequency, then everyone's gonna have a great time.
So I'm put this on camera. I'm so proud of my girl this weekend with her family there at the house.
Mhm.
And she's a music teacher, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah,
she has
yeah, yeah.
experience in music therapy. She has a degree in music therapy and education, right?
Okay.
but she's like introverted, don't speak up a whole lot,
Yeah.
about things, but when people call it crunchy things, I learned this word too, crunchy, when you're crunchy, when you're into like, tiny houses and solar
Okay,
panels and stuff,
yeah.
she call
Damn, I guess I'm crunchy then.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And so but she got minister of music therapy on them, because typically she wouldn't do that around her family because
Yeah.
like I mean, they're from South Carolina. They're just so traditional, you know what I mean? And
Okay.
you're just gonna get but it's cool because I like it because she says things to them, even though she knows she's gonna get like this feedback that's gonna be like, what?
Yeah, a little
Like,
backlash.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they look at you like that for breastfeeding. You know what I mean? It's just some cultural stuff, man, But see, that's where catharsis is good, right? Because
Yeah.
when you stay in your bubble and you came from a traditional family and you stay, so we got a lot of elders. They all of them got wisdom,
Yeah.
right? But they also got a lot of tradition and stuff, and so do we now. And
Exactly.
now we're trying to figure out how to relay positive, loving information to our children without bringing in our learnt, you know, behaviors,
Exactly.
and they ain't in that space. You know what I mean? They ain't. I'm not saying they're not in it, right? But
Yeah.
it takes time, right? It takes exposure, right?
Exactly.
Other adults, other elders that are saying, because you right now you just said about frequency, she gave it to him about frequency, but she
Mm.
wasn't talking from a crunchy. She was talking from a music therapy. I got a master's,
Exactly.
which she does,
Yeah.
but they still didn't get it. And I thought to myself, like, she got a master's in music therapy. Like, y'all all spoken to her to have a career where she has a master's, right?
But
And
you're
now
still not
she's speaking
listening.
from that master's, but I don't think they picked it up at first, but maybe when they go home,
Yeah.
they will. But she was talking about frequency. Everything has a frequency.
Yes.
Everything, and she said, that's why, she said, you ever been around somebody and they make you feel low, like you're low, like a low vibration? She said, that's because you're around people with low vibrations, low frequencies.
Mhm.
She was giving it to him, giving it to him. Man.
I know you
So
loved every minute of that too.
I said real loud, I said, you go minister of music therapy. I want to highlight that
Yeah.
she had, and she said something. They said, where'd you learn all this? She said, from life, from things, from my master's degree, what I learned in school and my
Exactly.
education,
Yeah.
basically where y'all sent me, you know.
Y'all sent me there, but then you don't listen to the person that you sent there.
But I
And
think really I think that moment in that house, even though the uncle who's probably almost 90,
yeah.
oh, I never heard that before. With a what his hat say? His hat says something that made me think like it wasn't like what's this new brand? Patagonia. It wasn't Patagonia or nothing, but it was a brand or a name that made me think it was something organic or
Oh,
something.
okay, okay, okay,
I'm thinking to
okay.
myself like, and he said, I never heard that before. Basically trying to tell her, she sounded a little loopy, a little
Yeah.
crazy.
And that's what I was gonna say. People they send that's very like archaic too, if you think about it. Um what did tribes do? They used to send a chosen person off to gain knowledge, gain that experience to bring it back to the tribe
Mhm.
to learn from that. But I think that has become lost because we'll send a chosen one off to learn, gain that knowledge, and bring it back to the tribe. But either one, the tribe is terrible, so the person doesn't want to return, or two, the person returns and the tribe doesn't want to listen,
Mhm.
which then in turns pushes the person away, and now the tribe is stuck into that era that they've always been because
Mhm.
of tradition.
Mhm. Wow.
So,
Yeah, so just the wisdom to, to see that,
yep,
right? Would be helpful right now. Just to, for us to see some of the things that we're doing that we don't realize that's just habit,
yeah,
that's routine, and how, this cycle or the loop that we're in. But but so point, that's what this does. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
like I said, takeaways and stuff like that. Yeah, because it's like it's things that I might have been studying all my life, but still not forgetting,
yeah,
still forgetting, still out of into some. let's call them bad habits, whatever. Let's call them just routines or, you know, whatever
It's everything that
things
you
we're
were saying.
doing.
Is routines of bad habits.
Yeah.
Is low vibrational states that we
Yeah.
keep ourselves in, thinking that we are less than when we aren't. It's a lot that plays into it that keeps us in this cycle. And it's funny because you have infinitely recyclable, and it has the infinite
The
loop.
symbol on it. Yeah. Yeah.
We have to figure out a way to break that loop, and the only way to break that loop is to raise our consciousness.
Mm,
That's something that I've noticed and been saying a lot lately. We want change. We have to be the change that we want to see. We have to step into that role. We can't just keep on talking about it. Like you said, there's things that needs to be protested about,
yeah.
but people aren't doing it because they're so engulfed in their everyday life of what's going on because they're being bogged down by everything that's going on.
I know I am.
They're keeping us in this repetitive, like,
Yes.
fight or flight, survival mode every single day, so we don't have that capacity to sit back and actually take care of things that needs to be taken care of, fight for things that needs to be fought for, or even, come together like we should. Shit, today, I got here a little late because and you said you might be here a little late depending on how the morning goes,
Hmm.
and that's exactly how it is. We can try to plan, but planning for the future always seems to be like, damn, we need to think more of the now than the future. But we're always looking at the past and we're always getting thrown stuff in our face about the now that we don't want to stay in the now. Like the wars, the gas prices. Who will want to stay in the now like this?
Right.
No one.
Right.
They're going to keep on looking at the future or looking at the past and talking about both of those timelines, but won't talk about the timeline that's happening now.
Right. Right. What's right in front of you,
Exactly.
the the beauty, right? Our kids,
Hmm.
our family, all this beautiful stuff.
And that's all that it was back in the day is growing in a community. They taught you how to build. So all the men knew how to build houses, build homes for their family. They taught the men how to hunt. They taught the women how to clean, how to cook. Hell, even the men knew how to cook too. Because when they would go out on these long journeys, they would need to know how to cook. They wouldn't take the women with them.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of things that they taken away from us to make us more docile, to make us more domesticated.
Dependent. But yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, the things that are lost. And just go back, catharsis just really made me think of that. So like it gave me a little bit of a framework about
Yeah.
what to do here,
Okay.
because not just a panel, it's like catharsis, whereas we're searching for something, we're looking for, camaraderie, answers, um, you know, um, a
A new
path.
Yeah, I'm about to say a new way of living.
Yeah.
A new that's what really needs to happen. We've been operating in the same time, like well not even time, but just the same we've been operating in the same capacity that we always have been. And it's
Hmm.
time for a change. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are tired of the way things are going and the way things have been going. And a lot of people are starting to make that change or looking for that change. And I see now that you're trying to create that space for the change.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a good song. I wish I can find what song it was just yesterday. A song about real nice jazzy kind of R&B. Um wouldn't know what that sound is, man, but real little bit they call it, I learned the word lounge lizard, lounge lizard, but but the soulful kind, but it was like be the change that you want to see in the world, but just really soulful song. And he
Yeah,
just kept repeating that. I'm like, and I listen for stuff like that. I search for like stuff like that's why I'm really interested in music, musicians, all different sounds, because through the art, people are they're expressing themselves,
exactly.
but you can tell, the artist is trying to relay a message.
Oh, every single time.
So it's another way. See, to me, these are some of the ways that we're still, when I met you in my notes for you for Horatio X, and then I found out that my boys in New Jersey started this podcast too that's been going for a while and seems to be pretty successful. I think I might have sent it to y'all called the balance sheet.
I don't think so.
No, the balance something. And but he was somebody who was always, who was a music producer in our circle. He was a producer always crushing sound beats, man. He was back in the day, mostly hip hop back in the day. His name was Karma. And I saw that, he was hosting this podcast, and my sister and another young person that I know from back in the day, younger person, is starting her podcast on they're kind of create their own network. So
Okay.
they're gonna help her start her
Yeah.
podcast too. So I'm like, oh well, they got a nice show. And
Exactly.
it looks like they're like going into depth about hip hop culture, but other stuff too. But it
Okay.
sounds like, they're like, because they're hip hop heads,
Yeah.
like they're like carving out like a niche of a dialogue about
Hip
hip
hop.
hop, the
Yeah.
people, the culture, whatever. That's what it seems like. I got to look at it some more. But when I saw that they were doing something, and I saw what y'all are doing, and I'm just seeing all these connections, right? The thought I had was, I thought I had this thought of the talking drum,
Mm.
right? I'm like, man, you know, if we could just bounce things off, if even
Okay.
if it's not networking, at the most you could do an exchange, like Mike was saying with the network, like host each other on the shows,
Exactly.
promote each other's shows,
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? But also the information, the dialogue, because we're all like conscious, kind of looking for meat, we're looking for like
I'm glad you
quality
said that, man.
conversation, like
Yes.
going into some depth of things,
Yes.
and the heartache and the pain points and things like
Yeah.
that about all this,
Exactly.
and and our solutions, right? Our
Yeah.
solutions too. So anyway, it just gave me this thought of the talking drum, like a way to disseminate information, connections. I don't know. It was just more of a vision,
Yeah.
right? Of um so when I think of art and music, that's still a way, that's still kind of a way of communicating,
Exactly. A
without,
message.
yeah,
Yeah.
message, that can kind of, in a and sometimes in a stealth way too, sometimes.
Cause to speak on that with Bob Marley's song War,
Mm,
I didn't know that that was pretty much word for word, bar for bar, uh the general's like statement.
okay,
Like it was an actual statement.
okay,
I can't remember which one, so don't crucify me, anyone. But I think it was Gaddafi.
okay,
I think it
okay.
was insert from Gaddafi. So
Selassie.
that
Was
entire
it?
song
Mhm.
was pretty much, what a message that a general was trying to push out, but nobody was probably listening to.
Mm,
But Bob Marley turned it into a song.
hmm,
So you can do one or two things: either listen to it and sing it, or hear it and turn it off.
mhm,
And ever since I heard that song, it's been stuck in my head. So
mm,
I'm like, yo, I need to find that song. I need to play that song, and
mm.
that's why I put it on the picture that you took of me, because I'm like, yo, like
Okay,
that's
I
the
didn't
kind
see
of
that yet.
type of time frame that we're on. Like we have to emancipate ourselves from everything that's going on right now. If you listen to his music, it puts you in a different frequency to start lifting the veil of
Mm,
what's truly going on. If you look back at all the things that people were singing or even talking about, they were trying to lift the veil, but they were
mhm,
painted as crazy
mhm.
because they went abroad, came back with a message that wasn't the message that we're used to because of tradition. So it all comes back into play. It all
Yeah,
comes full circle.
yeah. Nevertheless, right?
Yep,
The message needs to be sounded, right?
exactly.
Because it's like it's not just that it's that moment's important, but it's not just that moment. It's
What happens
so
after the
much
moment?
more,
Yeah,
generations later, you know what I mean?
exactly.
Even, more prophetic in some sense, think of Jesus, other, and, Muhammad, and, just how we look at those words now, and how they can be somewhat relevant. I say
Exactly.
somewhat, but how they relevant, it's
Yeah,
like, whoa, it's like seeing that, it's like it's really divine, you know?
Yep.
It's revelatory.
And I'm glad you brought some fruit and stuff out too. Just to shift the conversation a little bit. I'll probably eat a cutie, but this will be the first and last time y'all see me eat a cutie on camera, because it's not natural.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
It's
Right.
I'm really shifting myself to more natural things, and even baby carrots,
Yeah.
they're not real.
Right. Right.
So I can't even eat baby carrots anymore because they're not real, and I
Right.
can't sit here and say that I'm living a certain lifestyle, and behind camera I'm,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what type
Pseudo
of
healthy. Yeah.
exactly what type of image am I really portraying?
Right.
Because I am who I am on and off the screen.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, don't do this, guys, and
Yeah.
then guess who's back there doing it?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you bring some you bring some heirloom seeds of carrots, and I'll find a cute spot for them out here in the ground,
Say
and
less. And I'm glad you said that because
yeah,
my
I'll go
wife and
check in a
I
minute.
we just
Get him out.
um we just replanted our garden. We turned the soil, and we already have our cucumbers
Nice.
are sprouting out already.
Wow.
So we only planted 3 seeds this time because
Yeah.
cucumbers, I know you know,
Yeah.
they're viney
Yeah.
and they can go
They
crazy.
want to spread.
And
Yeah.
after 2 seasons of doing cucumbers, I was like, let's just do 3 seeds
Uh-huh.
because we already know they're gonna produce.
Uh-huh.
So we lined them up to where they can go on the trellis,
Yeah.
so then we can bear more fruit.
Yeah.
And we already see the three. We've done cilantro, different bell peppers,
Wow.
different sweet peppers. I don't think we put carrots in, but I will tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
We planted carrots 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and there was still carrots growing
Yeah.
inside of our garden.
Yeah.
Haven't even touched it, and
Yep.
it's exactly where the sage and tarragon is.
Okay.
That lasted for 2 years.
Yep. Beautiful thing.
Like it's
Beautiful thing. Not giving up, right?
exactly like okay, and it's funny because as I was back there, I was sitting and thinking like I did say that I would never go back there again, but because I needed to, I did. In the same token, I was a lot more conscious of what I was doing, and I was a lot more careful and aware of what was going on.
Right.
So it kind of prepared me the first 2 times. Okay, you didn't learn the first time, so boom, now you lost this. Okay, you going back there a third time? Did you learn?
Yeah.
So, and I'm only eating another one because y'all didn't see me off camera eating it. And I told y'all I ain't gonna be the one eating stuff off camera and telling y'all not to do it. But it's funny because I don't know if I told you about it, but I had got one of the bigger oranges, thinking that it would have seeds in it.
Mm.
It didn't have seeds in it, and it was just a giant cutie, and it was dry
Mm.
as hell. No, it was dry. There was
Mm.
there was no fruit flavor. There was nothing in there. Wasn't even water in there. So when I bit into that, I was like, no wonder these things are just sitting here for one, and my kids aren't eating them
Mm-hmm.
because there's no sweetness. There's no naturalness to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I have started, just doing natural foods and cooking at home and not really eating out as much, it's changed their body.
Hmm.
They can't eat fake stuff, it seems like. If they do, they're on the toilet for longer than expected, or they're not feeling good. And it's funny because they do that in school too. All the processed and fake food that they give the kids every
Mm-hmm.
single day.
Mm-hmm.
And then because during the summertime, the kids never get sick. But as soon as they go back to school, and it's not
Mm.
because they haven't been outside, it's not because they haven't been playing with other kids, it's the food.
Mm.
Stomachs start hurting, sinus infections, all
Mm.
this
Mm.
random stuff that
Mm.
you didn't even see during the summertime.
Wow.
It's all in the food.
Wow.
They've been poisoning us since forever as I'm eating a fake orange.
Cutie. Yeah.